Prescreen, again, if your program is using it, you'll want to click on your Begin Prescreen link. And that will launch us into our prescreen process. Now you'll notice on the left-hand side here that this particular prescreen is just one step, which is pretty typical. We usually suggest only a 1 or 2 step prescreen process. Now a little bit of background, the prescreen process itself, the purpose of it is to have a process to create a record for a client or potential client without actually creating a case record. So a prescreen is going to be what we call a matter record. Again, it's all of the information you're collecting at the prescreen stage, which is typically limited to any information that would affect the eligibility for this client. So again, if we scroll down here, we can see some basic information about the prescreen, things like the date, time, and the user who's filling it out. We then come down to the applicant information section. And the first thing here is, of course, our client name. Now with our prescreen, we have what we call the manual conflict searching. So we'll see when we get into our intake process that it's going to be an automatic conflict search on our second step. But with our prescreen, we actually have to click this conflict search link here, and it will bring up a pop-up of our conflict search results. And apologies if you cannot see the pop-up because of our screen sharing here, but we'll be able to see, of course, our conflict search results in our intake process, and it's going to essentially be the same exact list view. So that's how we would do our conflict search here. We can also enter additional information about this client. So we can enter things like date of birth and home phone, phone numbers. We also have the option to enter some basic, very, very basic financial information here. And it will do a quick percentage of poverty calculation. And then on our test prescreen here, our last thing is our problem code. So at the bottom of your prescreen, you're always going to have your screening status field. And that is going to be basically asking you, what do we want to do with this prescreen? So as I mentioned, the prescreen, the purpose of it is to screen, of course, our potential clients. So if we have screened this person, and let's say that our program does not actually accept bankruptcy cases, we would, after selecting bankruptcy, we could come down to our screening status and say we need to reject this client. We cannot help them, we can't go any further with them because they have a bankruptcy case. So then if we click continue here, we would of course be launched into our rejection form. We would step through that, answer things like our reject reason, and then of course go ahead and reject that record. Now if we do take bankruptcy cases, it looks like our client here is in the right level of percentage of poverty. What we can also do here is escalate it right into a full intake. Now this, of course, is going to launch us into our intake process, but the only difference from starting from scratch, just clicking on our Begin Applicant Intake link, is simply going to be that whatever we've entered on this particular prescreen is going to already be populated in our intake. So if I click continue here, again, we'll notice we're launched right into the Begin Applicant Intake. We can see we're, of course, on the first step. And anything that I entered on the prescreen, such as the client name here, is automatically going to be filled out for us.